So just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, the Wayne and Rob show returns. Um, I'll just do a quick introduction. We may have a number of people on the phone that are new to American in this presentation. So if you are new to American in the last few months and haven't been a part of one of our previous webinars, I want to welcome you to American. My name is Rob Whitman. I'm the Regional Vice President of Sales. I handle the East Coast, primarily east of the Mississippi. And I'll let Wayne and Cindy introduce themselves.
I'm Wayne Martin, so I've got the same responsibilities west of the Mississippi, working with associates and customers in that area, including Hawaii.
And I'm Cindy Carlson. I work with out of our strategic operations support team, and I work with everybody across the United States.
So if you haven't worked with the strategic operations support group, we have a number of incredible professionals similar to Cindy that work with sales associates to assist them on everything from presentations, RFP responses, proposal responses, technology demos with ACEs, and then Wayne and I will typically get plugged in when it's more of a program opportunity, larger opportunities or opportunities that entail a suite of services and products that we might be providing to the customer. We can work with sales associates on everything from discussing strategy all the way through to implementation. So Wayne and I will get on the road a bit and go out and visit clients back when we were able to. Wayne seems like Wayne's been getting out a little bit more than I've been able to, but it's good to be back out on the road again.
Yep. One other thing I'd add to that, Rob, is that something that started when COVID really hit was that we started reaching out and working with associates that were joining during COVID, that were going through DA processes virtually, and kind of a crazy time to join a company and you can't see anybody or talk to anybody. But we started reaching out to new hires, and with some of those new hires doing weekly meetings where we would develop strategy, and then hopefully that turns into opportunities where we plug that SOS process in. And Rob and I will usually pull in somebody like a Cindy or a Brody or a Sheila to be a part of that, so that when it does turn into that opportunity, then we've got all the right people involved to take us through that process and work with all the internal departments. So that's been a great experience, getting a chance to do that over the last 2 years as well.
Great. So let's get into this customer review process that we want to introduce to you. As you saw in the invitation for this meeting, this is going to be the first of a 3-part series. Wayne's going to bring us home, talking you through what the next 2 steps are going to be. But really want to talk about as we come into the end of this calendar year and we come out of this COVID situation, I think it's really important that that you think about, why is it that your customers hired you, and think about the value that you've brought them over this period of time, both prior to COVID and since. Many of you do reviews, and you do them formally or informally, and you do them a number of different ways. Part of our process will be to try to uncover that and get a deeper understanding of what you're doing and what's working for you, so that we can improve upon the process as it relates to how the SOS team can help. So many of you have been with us for the last couple of years. You know that, about 18 months ago, when we were hit with the pandemic, Wayne and I started a series of webinars to try to help reps sell through the challenging times that we were all experiencing, come up with creative ways to improve their use of business tools like LinkedIn, how they can utilize social media to help them promote themselves and their business, as well as a number of other initiatives that we presented over the course of the past 18 months. We've been doing a lot of discussion as a part of our client engagement committee. And one of the things that we've discussed in the past several months is the best opportunity that we have currently is with our existing customers. It's really rare that we have 100% of the business locked up with a client, with any client. So every customer that we're currently dealing with is an opportunity. They already know us. They like you. They trust you. They know what to expect in dealing with us, and they know how you've responded to challenges and opportunities. And therein lies what we want to start discussion around today, and that is, how can you use your current customers to help grow your revenue? How can you protect your current clients? And how can you plan proactively? So we're going to be going through what we have built and build in out of SOS as a customer review process. But really think of it as an opportunity to have a formal discussion with your client that's more about strategy and the direction of the company and our direction as a company versus, going in and selling products and services. So today we're going to go over a little bit about what the current landscape is. We're going to talk about why you should do reviews and how you can execute them. A lot of this stuff is not rocket science, but it's going to get you thinking about where you should sit down with clients and have a more formal conversation about the business relationship and what you've done for them and how you can improve upon it. Cindy, if you could just briefly go back to the previous slide. I think that quote was real important that I want to kind of highlight. And, everybody loves to get a report card, especially when you get grades like that. I didn't really ever see a report card like that, but I did get recognized in certain situations for doing a job above and beyond. And we all love getting recognized, right? But the opportunity to do a formal review gives you an opportunity to kind of grade yourself in front of the customer and puts them in a position where they have an opportunity to agree with that or to disagree with that based on how they see things. What better way to go into a new year or into a new cycle with your customer by understanding completely how they view you, understanding where they've seen that you've performed above and beyond and where you need to make improvements. That's the secret sauce to sales. If you really want to retain your clients and grow your business and your existing accounts, knowing where you stand, where you're performing well, where you need to make improvements gives you that secret sauce so that you can make the changes necessary, recruit the resources necessary to help you protect and grow your business. Don't have to say too much about adapting to changing times and changing needs. We've all seen a lot of obviously downturn in the economy, changes in the economy, shift in business, and certainly dramatic impacts to certain vertical markets. There's been personnel changes, and all those things create opportunities for you to sit down and assess where you are with your key customers and determine how you can move forward. So understand this is a customer review format, but I'm just going to remind you again, it's a great opportunity for you to be able to sit down and grab some information to have a formal strategic conversation with your customer about where you're going and where American's going and understand where they're going. Okay, Cindy. So Cindy's going to walk you through the template that we've built for customer reviews, and we've updated it, and we're giving you a lot of tips as we go through. Cindy will kind of carry you through that. We'll show you different reports that could be available or information or data points that you might want to capture to present to your client. And we'll talk about how you can get that information. So, the opportunity, as I shared with you, with existing clients is immense. We've got over 30,000 plus active customers that work with American and over 4,500 active ACES sites. Here is a really kind of, telling sign to us, which told us that this was both an opportunity and something that we needed to investigate to understand why this wasn't being done more. Maybe it's being done informally and you're building your review yourself. That's great. We want to hear about it so we can understand how we can improve American's review template and review process and assist you and assist all the sales associates with how they can execute an effective customer review. So in 2019, we we did just 11 formal customer reviews that came through the SOS team. Many others reached out to finance and to their customer service folks to get information about their customer or ask for reports out of apps or data related to the orders that have been produced. We understand that not everything's coming through SOS, but we see this as a big opportunity. So even though we doubled our number of reviews in 2020, it's still a fraction of the opportunity that's available. And we want to help. We want to help because we see the value of reaching out to your existing customers on a regular basis to try to introduce other products and services that American can deliver for them. So this graphic on the right, the 9 cross-sell and upsell strategies you should try. I'm not going to read it to you. There's a link to a blog there. We're going to send you this and make this presentation available to you at the end of it. But it just offers a lot of tips and ways that you can capture information about what your customers are doing and bundle products and services to solve their problems and upsell gradually over time. So who should be a part of a review? First of all, any account where you want to grow and expand your business, where you see either an opportunity because you're only doing a segment of the business, or you see an opportunity because you've heard that the current supplier in there has been in forever, or they've dropped the ball on a couple things. Lots of opportunities for you to think about, where you want to grow your business. But rarely do we have, as I shared, customers that we have locked up their entire book of business. So we have lots of clients who we introduce promotional products to, and a year later we talk to them about print, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you did print," or vice versa. We entered into the relationship selling print, and months or even years later, they're like, "Oh, I didn't know you could do that." So the review gives you an opportunity to have that conversation. 4,500 ACES sites is certainly 4,500 opportunities to evaluate the job that we've done and how ACES is or isn't working for them, and improvements that we can make to the site. So certainly you want to think about that. The other thing that we want to consider, it's not just for program accounts. That's why we're talking about using it to have and facilitate a strategic conversation. So many of our clients are still transactional clients who buy products from us. The opportunity is to assess how they're buying those products, how they're ordering them, creating them, and distributing them throughout their organization to their internal and external customers. Those are certainly program opportunities if you can find a way to solve problems, streamline a process, reduce expenses, and utilize technology as part of your platform. So I'm gonna beat this horse. Any customer where you want to have a strategic conversation is a good prospect. So just a couple tidbits around, what information you should share with them in a review that maybe you should be capturing over time. There's lots of different ways that you can do that, but every single one of your key accounts hired you for a reason. Okay, more sophisticated clients will talk about KPIs, or key performance indicators, or SLAs, which are service level agreements. Both of those are basically measurements that they'll use to evaluate a supplier's performance. It could be turnaround times on quotes. It could be on-time deliveries. It could be 98+% accuracy in shipments or in order quality. Any measurement that a sophisticated client wants to track in order to be able to judge the performance of their suppliers are things that might be introduced to you that you need to keep track of throughout the course of the year. Obviously, we're going to go through the review template that's available, but we also have a lot of information that we can pull out of apps. Some of you might have heard of a tool that we use called Qlikview, which is basically a data tool that captures data from our order information systems and presents it in a very attractive manner with graphs and pie charts. And Cindy will kind of take you through what some of those reports could look like. But throughout the course of the year, and at any point in time in the year, we can give you information related to the statistics about their ordering data, volumes, product mix, all that kind of information that we can pull out of ACE's apps and utilize Qlikview to help assist in the process and prettying it up. The other things, some of the other things might be, more pertinent to what you're thinking about and what you've done on a daily basis for your customer. Success stories that you have had. If you bail one of your customers out of a challenging situation and you work through the weekend to get that item produced and decorated over the weekend that they forgot about, that they need at a trade show on Tuesday, that one person remembers that, but nobody else in the marketing department or procurement department or whatever the department is that you're working with, they don't remember that. That was one person's experience. That success story should be shared with all, because that's who you are. That's what you do for your customers. And those success stories tell a very powerful story. We've all had problems. It's a problematic business. It's not that the problem occurred. The customer is going to evaluate you based on how you handle the problem. What did you do to resolve the problem? What processes did you put in place to ensure that it's never going to happen again? And what ideas did you give them to either improve that process or other processes that can improve or streamline what the client does? All these ideas that you give your client throughout the year, whether they accept them or not, are all data points that you should be capturing throughout the year that would allow you to put together a really complete story about the value that you're bringing your customer. And then obviously, if there's opportunities to share stories of other customers that we're working with at American, that's always a valuable piece of information to present during a review. So what should you present? All of the above and then some. And the challenge is going to be, how do you keep that information straight? I mean, you don't necessarily have to overcomplicate this stuff. I know a lot of you have email folders for your clients. Maybe you just create an email folder for customer reviews for that particular client. And when you get a thank you email or an aha moment, or you present something and your customer shows appreciation, throw them into your review folder, and that information will be sitting there when you need it. If somebody told you something, you could send yourself an email and put it in that folder. And certainly you can, for those that like paper and pen, you can make a folder for your client and throw notes in there and print out emails and put them in there throughout the year, so that when you are sitting down to have that annual, semi-annual strategic conversation or review, all that information sitting there ready and available to you. And then you actually have more opportunities, even though we're dealing with a pandemic and people are still not completely back to work. You have more options now to get people together than ever before. And in some ways it's a lot harder, but in some ways it's easier. Obviously, if you've got a great relationship with your customer and you've got a key contact in the account, there should be easily an opportunity for them to facilitate a 30 to 60-minute meeting, planning well in advance, so that you can complete the presentation and all the key people can be involved. You certainly want to trade up and around your contacts so that other people that maybe aren't buying directly from you or buying from a competitor, or maybe just buying other services in marketing, you want them there, because it's a great opportunity to show them what we're doing for them. People shift around all the time, and somebody that was not on events before is now on events, and now they're your key person. So if you have a comfort level with them and they know the job you've been doing for their teammate before they moved on to something else, it's just a great forum for that kind of comfort right off the bat. So when should you do a review? I mean, really, just about any time. You should be making review or strategic conversations a habit. This graphic is of the pandemic blowing up the world, obviously, and so there's been a huge shift in business. There's been a dramatic shift and change in our landscape to doing business and how customers do business, and our transparency to them brings immense value. Your customers are going through changes in their departments, they're downsizing, they're changing roles and responsibilities. The last thing you want to do is wait until your key contact or the vice president or manager of the department is moved out and somebody new comes in, because they're bringing their suppliers, they're bringing their history with other suppliers. And if you've been in there and you've got a documented review process that you've presented to previous team members, and it shows that you've been doing a great job, you know that new VP of marketing is going to be focusing on other issues, and hopefully you're protected and maybe even have opportunities to grow. So really just about any time, is a good time. But this is just to put a bug in your ear. We're coming in on the end of the calendar year. We got a few months to go. So it's a good time to think about the year in review towards the end of the year, or at the beginning of the year as you want to look ahead. They've got new budgets and they've got events planned for 2022. So really good opportunity to stay ahead of it. The last thing that I'll put out there, and we all know that this has been an issue we've been dealing with, is there's supply chain challenges right now. So, it's taking a lot longer to produce product. I was just at a printer last week in Indiana, and he's waiting 16 to 18 weeks, sometimes 20 weeks to get raw materials to produce his product. So it's, what took days is now taking weeks, and that's impacting everything. Certainly on the promotional side, where we've got products coming from China, we've all heard about, the anchored ships off the coast of California that can't even drop off goods. So everything's taking a lot longer, which again is a critical reason and opportunity for you to have a strategic conversation about the upcoming year, so that you keep your customers ahead of the curve and they don't have any issues coming into their events. So, I've kind of already spoken about this slide in a number of ways, but I love the graphic in this light bulb, where it just had a lot of words in there that are words that you want your customers to use to describe you, and most of them do. But words like trust and conviction, strategy, customer satisfaction, goodwill, relationship, good communication, these are all things that a review will enable you to have across the entire team or department. So gives you a great opportunity to introduce new product categories or new service lines, as we've talked about. And ultimately, the most important reason is you're going to strengthen your relationships minimally. And the more transparent you are about what you've done well, but also what we've tripped on and what you've done about it, really gives you an opportunity to solidify and strengthen your customer commitment. It gets key decision makers involved and gives you a view into their future strategy that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I'm going to turn it over at this point to Cindy, and she's going to walk you through our template. Any questions, feel free to put them in the meeting chat. We'll get to them as we can, or we'll take a look at them at the end of the meeting. And Cindy, it's all you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rob. So Rob's mentioned our customer review template a couple times that we've developed within the SOS team. And this has really been pulled together based on our experiences on the customer reviews that we've been a part of. So just kind of trying to pull together some ideas in a format that we can share with you then as well, as a starting point when you're looking to develop your customer review with your customer. We, of course, from an SOS perspective, can be as involved with this as you want. So we can help pull together the information. We can be part of the meetings as well. But with the template itself, it's really kind of outlined in a way that kind of makes it directional for you. So you kind of have ideas. It's, information, suggestions, recommendations, and just notes along the way too of you'll notice some orange boxes that we put in across the way to give you some ideas and say, hey, don't forget about this, or this is where you can find this information. Ultimately, you'll remove it before you present to your customer, but again, just trying to be as helpful as we can throughout this process. So let me just jump in here and we'll kind of go through slide by slide. So from an introduction perspective, your first slide is going to be a kickoff. Standard, we just have a logo of the customer. Could also, dress it up a little bit, use some additional graphics, still tying in with American's branding, but, we can kind of work with you to help format any of this. From an introduction perspective, it's important to, call out who you are, who on your team is involved in the review or working with your customer on a regular basis. This review, maybe you're meeting with your regular point of contacts that you work with on a daily basis with the customer, but maybe they're going to be sharing it with their leadership or other departments, different things. So it's good for them to know who you are and who they're working with. We can include, snapshots of the program along the way. So whether you have an ACES site or there's pictures of events you've helped with or products, we can pull that into this introduction slide as well. And then, of course, just outlining the objectives. So that's probably going to be one of the last steps. So as we kind of outline all of the slides that we're including and all of the information, then we can kind of summarize those objectives, make sure it's really in line with what you're looking to review and go over with your customer. Program highlights. So this is one slide. There's a lot of information on here, but really the goal was to kind of outline some different ideas and content examples for you to consider. So this could be, I've seen worked on reviews where this has just been one page. I've worked on it where it's been 5 or 6 slides in the deck. So just kind of depends on where you're at with your customer and the projects and whatnot that you're working on with them. But you can group the information and the highlights, multiple different ways, whether you're doing it, for a specific period of time. Maybe you're outlining what you've done on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, for example. Maybe there's specific product launches that you've worked with throughout the year that you want to highlight, whether maybe it's something seasonal or a kitting project, or maybe they have a branding update. Technology updates is another popular area. So whether maybe you're bringing on new business or working with different departments or users, or you've made enhancements to their ACES site if they have one, whether it's new product categories or you've updated graphics or implemented allocations, whatever that might be, it's a good way to be able to just outline all of those different pieces. And there, obviously there's other miscellaneous things too. Maybe you helped with a sales conference and were there and providing product and support or implementing other tools. So really a lot of different options. We can work with you to help brainstorm, but like Rob had alluded to too, it's, really helpful if you're tracking that information throughout the year. It's going to make it really easy to then, oh, well, let me pull in this information. I can share it with SOS. They can help me, whatever that might be, because you're going to know best what you're doing with your customer. What are the successes? What are the challenges? How have you resolved those? So really, that's really the goal of this, is to highlight all of that, because as you know, we're busy, the customer's busy, things get forgotten, and they're going to take a look at this and, be surprised and happy that, wow, you guys have done a lot for us. So this is great. So we'll continue to work with you on all of that. The site refresh is next. So this is going to be more ACES driven. So I used our enterprise demo as an example. We did a redesign of that recently. So you can see the before and after shot and being able to call out some key highlights there. So if that's applicable, we can help you with that as well. And next we'll get into some of the reporting. So Rob had touched base on the Qlikview reporting that we have access to, and it's really nice dashboard reporting that we can pull. It's going to give you a good snapshot for the year, for example. So in this case, we have a pie chart showing what's ACES orders versus traditional orders. Orders by cost center, what the kind of the trending is for the year. So it's a nice quick snapshot that's visually pleasing. It's easy to look at. So this is one option that we can pull from a Qlikview perspective. So maybe you want to do something for the current year and then compare it to the previous year as well. So the customer can kind of see where they've been, where are they going, and kind of be aware of that trending. Top products is also another popular reporting that we include with the reviews. So this might be, top products on ACEs or traditional orders, or maybe it's a combination of the two. So we can break that up, however makes sense for your customer. But just having that breakdown, they can see what's really popular, including some graphics along the way to, kind of show some of those top products as well. Just kind of makes it easy again for the customer and for you to recognize, what's been popular throughout the year or period of time. Trending. So this is, again, this is just a high level month-to-month sales trending for the year. So again, a quick, easy snapshot to see, what's been happening. And along the way, we can include key milestones or launches. So, maybe it's something where it's a print program and you added promo and apparel into the mix. So let's call that out when that launch was. Or maybe you helped with a customer event. So, we can put that in there as well. So it's a way for the customer to kind of put 2 and 2 together. Like, why were my sales higher this month than that month? But just kind of an easy way to kind of talk through and show the trending for that. And, again, here you kind of see these orange bubbles. So this is a Qlikview report. So for those of you that have access, you can see exactly what report it is that we're pulling that out of. The same with order trending. So similarly, we can pull that as well. So you can see how many orders are being processed on a monthly basis. Again, calling out the key launches or milestones along the way. And trending by site. So some people that have ACES sites, they might have multiple versions of it. So maybe they have a corporate PO site, but they also have an employee credit card site for them to make personal purchases, or even a customer facing credit card site. So we can provide a breakdown for that as well, so they can kind of see, what's moving from site to site. And then offline orders. So, whether it's, a traditional program, or maybe you have an ACES program and you're still maybe going to be doing traditional orders with them as well. So it's a good idea to call that out as well. Maybe you've worked on some special kitting projects, or you've helped with their holiday gifts, or a big event. So that is another way to kind of call that out, and we can highlight key milestones along the way as well. And next we get into enhancements. So Rob alluded to some of this as well, but this is just kind of a nice overview. Again, a lot of different ideas here that you can review, kind of determine if this is a good fit for your customer or not, or, maybe there's other things that you want to include here. But we kind of broke it down into 4 main categories. So we have the grow business, quality improvement, training opportunities, and new tools. And then there's multiple ideas, for each one of them. So for growing business, for example, maybe there's new products that you want to recommend to your customer. Maybe you're only doing print with them, but why not offer up promo and apparel, or maybe kitting for their conference that they have coming up. Maybe there's some rewards and incentives that you could help with, or maybe it's a company you're just working with one department. Maybe they can refer you to other departments or divisions of the company as a way to kind of grow your business. You're proving that you've done a good job with them, for what you're working on so far. Maybe you can expand on that, or even referrals to other companies. So, again, where this is kind of your, review of everything that you've done for them, if they like what you're doing a great job, they are probably going to be more likely to refer you to another company as well. Quality improvement, that could be a number of factors. So maybe you're looking at products that they have on the site, or inventory items, seeing what's slow moving. Maybe you need to make some changes, maybe remove some items from the site to replace them with something new and fresh. Or maybe there's some top sellers that they're selling out of or moving really quickly. Maybe you want to bring them into inventory so they don't have to wait the 10 to 14 days for production. Also, maybe there's, some inventory items, they're really not moving that much. Maybe you want to put them on sale on the site and try to move those more quickly. So lots of different ideas there. Training opportunities is really going to be addressing, any common questions that you're getting from the customer, or pain points. Maybe they have constant questions, or you're getting a lot of questions with, how do I access the ACES site? Or I forgot my login, or, I can't find that particular product. Well, it's a good opportunity to kind of address those with the customer. Maybe you're pulling together some kind of training, whether it's a FAQ document or a training video, all things that SOS can help you with as well. Or maybe you want to make some updates to the ACES site to simplify things. It could be as simple as renaming an e-store or a category to help people find exactly the products that they're looking for. And then new tools, that's really going to be anything, from updating the ACES site. Maybe you're rebranding or updating the graphics on the site, implementing new product categories. Maybe you're implementing some templates or brand on demand or money handling, or offering, reporting options for them. Maybe they aren't aware of the different reporting options that we can provide them. So really just kind of being able to meet with your customer and strategize for ways to really enhance their program. This next slide is really focused around product launch targets. So this is a timeline. So if it makes sense, it's something that we can use and update to meet with your customer in a way to help strategize for the year ahead. So, again, it's pretty easy to, get caught up with everything else and realize that, oh, there's this event coming up in a couple weeks that I really need your help on. But if we're kind of aware of the different projects and whatnot that they have coming up, then that allows us to be able to help and reach out and touch base with the customer to try to be prepared and plan in advance and get all the information that we need so we can meet those targets. This particular timeline we have broken out into 4 different kind of groups of of events, I should say. So maybe there's seasonal launches, whether they're doing a summer launch or a fall launch or for the holidays, kind of highlighting those. Different company events, so if they have a sales conference or maybe even if it's a summer picnic that they want help with. Employee recognition is another thing. So whether it's, Administrative Professionals Day or IT Professionals Day, different events like that, maybe they want to recognize their employees. And then awareness and giving. So, a lot of companies are looking for options to give back to, different charities and whatnot. So maybe they want to do an Earth Day type event or even breast cancer awareness, which we're in right now, where we can add select items to their site and maybe a percentage of that is going back to a charity of their choice. So lots of different options, again, for consideration, and we can, of course, edit this for your customers' needs. And then other suggestions and site enhancements, this is going to be focused more along the lines of an ACES site. So if they have a program today on ACES, are there any things that we can do to, offer up suggestions to make improvements, whether maybe we want to update the layout or some graphics on the site, or add items or remove items, update categories, tutorials, whatever it might be. We can kind of work together to determine what are some good recommendations that we can bring to the customer that they can consider. And then just a closing thank you slide. So, putting in your contact information, your name, maybe even just throwing in a headshot as well so that they can remember who you are, or if they're sharing it with other people in their company, they know who to contact if they have any needs or need help with any projects coming up. So that's kind of the template in a nutshell. This, of course, we'll share with everybody after the call as well. And then I think, Wayne, I'm going to hand it off to you to continue on this.
Okay, sounds good. Only two more slides. That's it. So we'll make it quick. If after listening to Cindy walk through that template, which is the best ever that we've ever had, in the history of SOS and working with associates, that's like the latest, greatest, incorporates everything we've learned from associates working with you. But Cindy just gave you a great example as to why you want to hit that SOS help button and ask for an SOS coordinator or Rob or myself to get involved, because she just walked through almost everything you could possibly talk about, with a customer, transactional business, program business, technology, everything. So that's a good example of what's available as far as resources to help you think about, what do you want to share with your customer? So reach out to SOS, get us involved. She talked about everything that's on the slide, so I won't regurgitate it. Rob's point on that last bullet about have some kind of a system to keep track of things happening throughout the year, because you get so busy doing stuff, reacting, expediting, things like that, that you forget by the end of the year how to maybe tell your story and the examples of what you did for them that they probably forgot about as well. So if you've got something to pull from besides all the financials, which we can get out of the systems, it's going to be easier to put this together. So I want to thank Rob. I want to thank Cindy. That was awesome. Let's go on to the next slide, Cindy, and take a look at what the next couple of steps are going to be in this series for program reviews. In phase 2, we're going to invite several sales associates to tell you about conducting reviews for their customers, what they did, the good, the bad, the ugly, which is sometimes what reviews are. And we're going to have Katie Kaler, and she's going to talk about the review that she did for FAM recently. And a lot of this template comes from that review. So it's hot off the presses. And then Sarah Thomas and Kathy Armando are Philly and Jersey girls. They're going to talk about program reviews that they've done. I think UT Southwestern might be one of the ones that they're going to feature. But that's going to be great because you're going to hear it directly from them. What did they do? What did they struggle with putting it together? How did it go? What came out of it? And share that with you. So you're going to hear it from your peers. Then the second part of phase 2 is going to be a survey that we're going to send out to all of you because we want to get your thoughts on this. We want to find out, what do you do today to execute customer reviews? Do you currently present the reviews to your customers? What do you do? How do you do it? If you're not doing reviews and you want to understand, we want to understand why you don't do them and what we can do to help you with it, or just your thought process on doing reviews and not doing reviews. And then we want to know what can we do to enhance what you're doing. So you've got a pretty good idea of what you want to talk to your customers about, but taking a look at all the information that was just shared with you, that Cindy took you through, how do we pretty it up, as Rob said earlier, and make it look really professional and look really good. Then we're going to take the responses and we're going to compile all those responses and we're going to share them with all of you so that you see what everybody had to say. And then we're going to use that information as well to help us get better at providing, better resources for you to do this. But I really just want to circle back to one thing as we close this out. Rob talked about the report card, and he was right that, he didn't get many A's. I didn't get many A's because we compared our report cards, and there were always notes by the teacher about Wayne and Rob are too social. If they didn't talk so much, they would do better in school. So yeah, but that report card, from the time we were born and went to school, we've been doing reviews because you brought that home and that told mom and dad how you were doing and how they could help you, how the school could help you. The same thing today when physicals, and everybody knows they should get physicals on a regular basis. A lot of us don't do them on a very regular basis. We wait until we get that chest pain and it's like, oh, I wonder if I can get in tomorrow, find out what's going on. It might be better to do it a little earlier. And as Rob said, this is the absolute best, most critical time to be doing this because everything's been changing. And I can't tell you how many associates that we're talking to every day that when they finally get a chance to get back in, meet with their customers, things have been changing. In a lot of cases, every single contact they had is gone. They're no longer with the company. They moved into new responsibilities. So, it's a mad scramble to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Who do I talk to now? How do I tell them about all the great things we did to get to where we are and how we've saved them money and improved their processes? Because that knowledge just went out the window as these people moved on. So there's never been a time like right now where that's happening this much. So it's extremely important to get in there, find a way to get in there, talk to them, find out what's going on, put a review together just to get that recap. If nothing else, I mean, the person you're talking to today, if they're there, they may be gone tomorrow. So it's a lot easier if that information's there. people coming in that replace them can look at it and say, okay, this is what American's doing for us, or XYZ rep. It's huge. And I've been blown away so many times talking to reps when you guys are going in and you finally get in there and you're finding out that these massive changes are taking place and they're going to continue for a while. Sometimes it might be a good thing, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. Maybe they got rid of somebody who was a roadblock, but it's just super critical timing to do it. So if nothing else motivates you to go do program reviews on a regular basis, our changing world, should motivate you to do that so you can stay on top of the business you work so hard to get, which is why you do reviews in the first place. You work super hard to get the deals that you got, to get the programs that you got. And then we get busy being busy, and so does your customer. And everybody forgets about all that hard work that was done. And there's always somebody knocking on the door saying they can do it better for less. And pretty soon they're thinking, hey, maybe I should check these guys out, because they forget about all that work that you did. So to me, that's also a major reason for doing this, is so that you're keeping everything you've done fresh in their minds. And you're then talking about, where do we go from here? What are the new goals, the strategies, what things do you guys need to do? And that's what fills in that slide that Cindy had there when you're looking into the next year, and whether it's events or their events and things like that, what's happening in their world that we can get on the chart right now and focus on, instead of waiting to find out, whoops, oh, we missed that one. Didn't know you guys were doing that. That's the other value, is looking into the future and finding out collaboratively, not just what you think, but what they think you can do for them to improve what we're doing. So that's it, Rob and Cindy. I think that kind of recaps it, the next two phases. It's been great to get a chance to share this. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Cindy. You guys did a great job. It's been fun working with you on this project. And I think we've got a lot more value to offer in these next coming weeks. So look for the invitation on the sales associate presentations that will go through their reviews and their lessons learned. And we're looking forward to figuring out what we need to do to help you grow your business. Everybody have a great week. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.